So I wanted to talk this morning a little bit about this idea of humility. Uh, Humility defined as being no better than anyone else, but also being no worse than anyone else. In essence, being the same as everyone else. Um, that sort of, I've always understood that humility as a concept is not the same as weakness. Um, that uh, humility, the part of humility that tends to get forgotten is that part that you're also no worse than anyone else, because it means you have nothing to prove. If you're truly humble, you have nothing to prove to anyone. Uh, I'm not humble because I've always felt like I have a lot to prove to a lot of people. Um, and when you think about what that means, I don't feel that just me being who I am is sufficient. That if I prove myself, then I'm valuable. But if I fail to prove myself in some way, then just being like everyone else is some sort of failure. Um, one of the one of the problems with a lack of humility, it's a form of bondage in a way. It's putting your fate in other people's hands. It's like saying, okay, if you like my art, then I will be happy today. If you don't like my art, I will be unhappy today. So I really have no control over my life. I only have control over how I can make you like my work. And if I can make you like my work, then my life is good. So one of the problems with my artwork was that I had a lot of, it was carrying a lot of baggage because of that thing. Like, I needed to build my status so that people would like my artwork. I like the status for me, if I was getting better jobs or if I was getting awards or any of those kind of things, then that meant that people liked my work and therefore I was happy. Um, but that's a lot of weight for your artwork to carry. Uh, and my artwork carried a lot of that weight. 10 years ago, I just didn't like painting anymore. My art was in the service of building status. It was in the service of my career. It was in the service of my reputation. And it kind of killed my love for the painting itself. I kind of lost track of it. I even forgot that that was the point. I lost my love of painting. I didn't lose my love of the perks that status gave me. And that's the reason, in some ways, why it's so hard to let go of that, is that what status gives you is an illusion of control. So you sort of say, oh, I've arrived now. I've become somebody special. So now I'll be happy. People will like my art most of the time. And I can kind of discount the ones who don't. And because I've defined myself as an artist, I'm a successful person. That's a great perk. Like, you can walk into a room full of strange people where I generally feel anxiety, and they'll say, "Hey, what do you do?" And you say, "Oh, I'm a painter." And they say, "Oh yeah, what kind of paintings do you do?" And then I describe what I do, and they're all like, "Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool." And then I become validated. I'm like, "Oh, okay, now we can all relax. I'm a worthwhile person," and that's good. Now, tell me about what you do. Letting go of that perk particularly is a very difficult one, because what it feels like is I don't have an identity. If I let go of that, then what do I say when I walk into that room? What do you do? I'm an artist. What kind of art? well, I do a little of this, do a little of that. That sounds like not like somebody who's very special. That sounds like that could be anybody. Um, and that's kind of the point. That's what humility is. You're just like anybody. Um, but the reason that doesn't feel okay is that being just anybody seems like a failure. It feels like a failure. You want to be special. You want to be somebody. I mean, which of those two scenarios sounds more appealing? So that's been a big struggle for me all my life. And one of the things that I did recently was I started going to Overeaters Anonymous. This is their little 12-step book. OA is really, and I was reading this morning, this one, the 7th step, is all about humility. And one of the reasons that people drink in Alcoholics Anonymous, that people overeat in OA, it's a way of trying to control your environment. It's a way of trying to control your feelings. Like if you feel bad, like if my status fell for some reason, or if someone didn't like my artwork, eating was a way that I can make myself feel better. So it's a way of managing the failures, the inevitable failures that putting your fate in other people's hands causes. So no answers, but that's part of this, the reason for this this project. Becoming nobody special is actually a goal. We're all trying all the time to become somebody special. I spent most of my early life trying to become somebody special. I would say I still try to become somebody special now. And to embrace the idea that the overall goal is to become just somebody, just a person, and to have that be sufficient reason for living, that's where I feel I need to go. And when I can do that, or to the extent that I can do that, I believe that that's the only way for me to get a good relationship back with my art. The kind of relationship that I want it to be, which is one of love and one of freedom. When my art is not trying to build something, it's not simply a tool to build something that my ego really wants. If it's not just the mechanism by which I get the perks that I like, then it's free to be something else and something bigger and something more worthy of my passion. I really feel like I've been doing it a disservice all these years by making it, demoting it to a simple tool to meet my needs. So that's the project. That's the work. And it's something that a big part of myself, my ego part of myself, really resists very strongly. But it's something that I really want to explore, and I hope you'll join me. Thank you.